determine that there's something going on here, and that leads them to the evaluation that it might be lupus.
I understand that. What do I do if I believe or I think I have lupus?
If you think you have lupus, I'd go see first your internal doc, your internist, your regular doctor, and describe your symptoms, and ask them to conduct the tests to determine whether they think you do have lupus. That's how my wife found out about it. We have a very astute doctor who conducted tests, and he finally determined that she had lupus. If you're not happy with the results you're getting from your doctor, I would then say seek out a rheumatologist and let the rheumatologist conduct the test. Tell the rheumatologist what your symptoms are and let the rheumatologist conduct the test. And normally a rheumatologist will be able to determine whether you have it or not.
Are there any new tests in diagnosing or giving information? What is the government doing in helping to study lupus, if they are at all?
Well, we've just had a bill recognizing lupus that was passed in Illinois by Governor Quinn just this year, so that helps. It's a lupus awareness bill. That helps. But as you pointed out, we're still on the cusp of creating awareness about the disease. So we haven't had a lot of government involvement in the disease at this time.
What does the Lupus Foundation of America Association Illinois chapter do? What literally does it do to help this exposure?
A variety of things. One, we try to create awareness of lupus. That's very important because you want people to not ignore symptoms that they have of things that they feel it might be related to something else. We want people to be aware of lupus, and we want people to talk to their physicians about the things that are bothering them, just in case it is lupus. Creating that awareness is important. Lupus is chronic, not curable.
Interesting.
But it can be maintained. It can be managed. And people can live normal, healthy lives. They do the things that we all know we should do. You watch what you eat, you exercise, you'd probably put on some low doses of medication, you take your medication, and you live your life. So you can do those kind of things if you're aware that you might have lupus. You don't want to find out that you have lupus by having a flare, end up in the hospital, find out that the lupus has impacted one of your organs, and now you're dealing with kidney failure or liver failure or a heart attack. In addition, we try to help the families and the individuals who have lupus, the families and the individuals, because if a member of your family has lupus, they're ill on a pretty regular basis. Well, it can be if the lupus is active. They need a lot of help. They need a lot of attention, and the families need support as well. So we're talking to people at the Lupus Foundation every day, all during the day, about whatever issues might be coming up in the care of their loved ones who have lupus, or for the individuals themselves. We also try to work with the medical community to get them more in tune with lupus, to be willing to go that extra step, give that extra test to determine whether someone has lupus and hopefully get ahead of that disease before it flares. And then lastly, and very, very importantly, we attempt to participate in those physicians that are conducting research looking for a cure for this disease. One day there's going to be a cure, just as there has been a cure for many other diseases that have existed in our country. One day there will be a cure for lupus, but it requires the financial support to allow the researchers to do what they can to find that cure.
It sounds like stress plays a very strong part of the lupus condition.
It does.
Can you elaborate on that?
It makes me smile when I think about that. Not that it isn't serious, but who's not stressed today in this society?
That's exactly.
So
yes.
so to say, well, be careful of stress because stress might trigger your lupus, almost sounds facetious.
Yes.
But it is true. Stress does play a role, and anyone who's diagnosed with lupus needs to be mindful of it. They need to try to conduct their lifestyle in a way that minimizes that stress to the best extent that they can. We don't live in a stress-free society, so we can't shield ourselves totally from stress. But if you can get the proper rest, tone down your activities, those kind of things will certainly help.
With it being such a having such an impact on minority communities, is there any indication that stress or genetics is a major part of lupus being so prevalent in the minority community?
I'm not aware of any studies that points things out in quite that fashion. I mean, generally the studies talk about the overall characteristics that impact everyone, whether they are people of color or whether they're not.
Mm-hmm. I know a few people that are not part of our community that have lupus.
Mm-hmm.
And do you find a good cross section of support in Chicago for the foundation?
I do. We see the support in a whole host of ways. We have volunteers to come to the Lupus Foundation to help us in a lot of different ways. Two, we will conduct during the course of the year what we call lupus walks, where we will have individuals who will put on T-shirts and walk a mile or 3 miles for their loved ones, and they will be walking for lupus, and they represent every cross section of our city.
Every ethnicity.
Every ethnicity, absolutely.
What can I do? What can Chicagoans do to help Lupus Foundation?
Well, we certainly welcome any financial support that Chicagoans are willing to contribute. We're located at 740 North Rush in Suite 3300. So we're easy to find. If they went on the internet, we're at www.lupusil.org. So we will welcome the financial support.